Okay, so it's just recording my screen, the speak of you. That's why I mute you all so that it doesn't record yours if you're making a sound. So checking your volume and get yourself comfortable with starting lying down, starting with that same breath work that we did last week. So straight off with your props and supports. So here I have a bolster, cushions, and last week we used a chair. I haven't got a chair in the room with me today, but you could pop a chair underneath your calves. So you bring your hips right up close to the chair and imagine my calves are resting on the chair. It's a bit like so. So this week, just demonstrating what you could do with a pillow off your bed or a firmish cushion. You could just pop that underneath your knees. And then lock underneath your head. And then resting your hands on your abdomen. Yeah, roll blanket underneath your knees is nice as well. I can see you doing that. Thank you, it's good. Super. Okay, so give yourself time to settle down. A yin class is slower. There's more time during the poses and between the poses, so that you have time to settle. That's a good use of the chair, Christine. Lovely. So if you're using the chair, and if it's a lay down chair, I can see that Christine she's got her calves up on the chair, but perhaps that chair feels a little bit low down. Bedroom chairs sometimes are. So you then put a folded blanket or a pillow underneath your calves, just so that the chair takes the weight of your calves. So your legs can relax down into it. You don't want them to kind of feel that they're gripping and holding. You could also use, if you're in a bedroom, I won't demonstrate this because I'll go off camera, but you could go to so I could go to the side of this bed and I could get my hips really close to the bed and then I could just put my calves on the mattress. Same idea. So you getting your legs at that right angle position. All right, so enough faffing and getting ready and organized. Let's begin. So I like to have my hands on my abdomen. And I'll just come close to the camera so you can see. So hands on the abdomen and my middle fingers are just touching. Like so. So as you breathe in to your hands, you see my fingers part. And as I breathe out, the tips of the fingers touch, or the middle fingers. Breathing in to the hands, feel the fingers part. And breathing out, they come back together. We'll just do a few of those. And if you kind of get settled in this position and you feel that it isn't comfortable, don't feel totally committed to this position. Change it so that you are finding your perfect position for finding comfort and ease. The key is to be able to rest and release and relax into this lying position. So if you've got anything a little bit niggly, then you won't be able to fully embrace wholeheartedly this position that you've chosen. So change it around. And you may indeed want to get rid of all the blocks and supports. So feeling the breath underneath the hands, feeling the fingers part on the inhale as you breathe into the navel. And exhale, lower down, fingers touch. Okay, so we're now going to slide the hands out to your waist. Again, I'll come up to the camera. So from here, slide your hands around to your waist and making sure that the hands are here, left and right. So you can breathe into the hands. See if I'm going to exaggerate this. So you're going to breathe in, hands will expand with the breath, and breathe out. Feel the hands contract and draw in. Inhale, breathing, pushing the breath left and right. Feel that expansion left and right. Exhale, squeeze and draw in. Okay, final place in this around this waistline is to pop one hand underneath your lower back. So if you just roll over onto your side slightly and slip your hand underneath, so the palm of your hand is facing your mat and you have the back of the hand in your lower back. Again, I'll come up to the camera so you can see. So your hand is here in your lower back. Breathing into your hand. And then keeping the hand here in your lower back, place your other hand on your abdomen, on the front, just beneath your navel. So you're sending your breath into the navel and into the lower back at the same time. Feeling your breath push front and push into the back. And then placing your hands wherever feels comfortable. So you can keep them here. This feels quite comfortable for me to have a hand underneath me, feels comforting for my back and very soothing to have a hand on my abdomen. But you're visualizing your breath now moving in all those 4 positions that your hand was in. So lower back, where your hand is underneath you, and the hand in front of you, the abdomen, and then into your sides, left and right. So it's like a waistband expanding as you inhale in all 4 directions at the same time. Push the breath out. And then exhale, feel everything contract in those 4 directions. It draws in. And now we'll start to lengthen the exhale. So this is where we were picking up on what we were doing last week with that counted breath. So breathing in for say for a count of 4 into those 4 directions, nice and slow. And then breathing out for a count of 6 or longer if it feels comfortable. Breathing in for a count of 4, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. And breathing out for a couple of counts longer. In for 4. And out for 6. So these numbers are just a suggestion of the counts. So actually I feel that this morning, I've been did some breath work early this morning. So I feel that actually I could probably breathe in for 6 and breathe out for 8 or 9. And that's comfortable for me. Whatever you do, you don't want to feel that you're kind of gasping for breath that feels tight and rigid and kind of awkward with your breathing. And to lengthen the breath rather than kind of really huffing and pushing it out, you're just slowing it down. So be breathing in. And then pause at the top of your inhale. So you just hold for a count of 2. And then a nice, long, slow exhale for whatever counts works for you. Breathing in for your counts, pause for 2. And exhale, 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 long, slow, continuous exhale. To the top of every inhale, pausing for 2. And for the last couple of rounds, perhaps nudging that pause at the top of the inhale for a little bit longer, but only if it feels comfortable. One more round, finishing on a long, slow exhale. And then return to normal breathing. And have a little wiggle of your toes. Flutter your eyelids. Slowly waking up. Changing your hand position. So we're just going to move, you can stay as you are with your legs, you're just going to move your hands one on top of the other at the heart. Press your hands down to your sternum, onto the heart. Feel your breath here. And then slide your hands round to your side ribs. Again, I'll come close to the camera so you can see. They've gone from heart here. And then round to your side ribs here. So right round onto the side. And then changing your arm position. So you're lying on the ground and you send your arms out in front of you, reaching up and away. So they're going up towards your ceiling. That's it, perfect. Reach away. Feel the shoulder blades stretch apart and feel that. You can see on my back, that bit that's rounding will be now pushing into your yoga mat. So stretch away, and feel your breath pushing into the mat there in your mid back. So if you think of the structure of the heart and the rib cage, you have the heart at the front, and there's a lot of lung space on your back. So as you stretch forwards, you're making more space to breathe into that width left to right and into the mid back. Okay, so drop the arms down. Now we can get rid of all the equipment. So if you've got a chair there, just draw your knees in first, roll onto your side, and then get rid of the chair. And you could still perhaps have a block underneath your head. I'm going to get rid of it because it gets in the way for me, and get rid of all your cushions and supports for now. And then coming back to what we call a semi-supine position. So it's feet flat on the floor, arms down by your side. Okay, so just settling down to the semi-supine position, you have your chin. If you just squeeze your chin deeply into the throat, feel the stretch in the neck, and then relax that squeeze and just start to roll your head from side to side. Exhale, head goes over one way, and inhale, head back to center. Exhale the other way. Inhale, head back to center. It rolls really heavy. So nice, heavy, slow. Jawline soft, no frown in your face. And just letting go of perhaps the grip you might have in the hands, in the toes, and the bottom. Okay, so let's add on pelvic tilt. So you're still keeping your head rolling from side to side, but as you inhale, you're pulling up on your abdominal muscles, drawing in, tilting the pelvis so that the tailbone lifts slightly off the mat. So it's not a full bridge pose, but the beginning of it. The lower back presses down. And then as you exhale and roll your head over to the side, you press your tailbone down, head rolls over. So you're breathing in, head back to the center line, press the small of your back into your mat. And then as you breathe out, press your tailbone down at the same time your head rolls in the opposite direction to the previous one. So breathing in, head to center, press the small of your back into the mat. Breathing out, press the tailbone down and head rolls over the other way. Slow inhale, head back to center, press the small of your back into the mat. Exhale, pressing the tailbone down, head rolls over to the side. Breathing in, coming back to center. Press the small of the back into the mat. And exhale, head over, tailbone presses down. Okay, one more complete round. Tailbone down, head over. Inhale, back to center. And then when you're back into center, just letting everything settle, shoulders relax. Let your arms just sort of fold out, flop out away from the body. So I have mine, they're on the carpet rather than on my mat, so a little bit wider. And I'm just going to flop my knees from side to side, moving them like they're slow, very slow windscreen wipers. And then my knees are not going all the way down to the ground, but with my palms facing up, the shoulders down, the chest feels open. And I can just, as we're rocking the knees a little bit from side to side, feel that massage in the back of my pelvis as the weight shifts to the left and the right. Knees left, knees right. I'll just swivel around so you can see the distance that I'm going. Knees left, knees right. Legs heavy. And then how does it feel to roll the head in the opposite direction to your knees? Dropping the knees left, head right. And the opposite way. Okay, do a few more. Okay, so now we'll drop the knees over to your left as far as feels comfortable. Actually, I might bring my camera down onto the floor. Okay, so I am able to get my knees all the way down. Some of you might have your legs kind of hovering up here. So this is where we can use our support. So I'm grabbing hold of my yoga bolster, or you could use a rolled up blanket or cushion. And your knees are dropping over to the left, and then they can rest into the support. So tuck it underneath. So it doesn't have to be the knee. So I've got it closest to my hip, and then the other leg's dropping down on top of it. Okay, so knees left, arms out, palms facing up. And have them more at a 45-degree angle and straight out, just a little bit kinder for the shoulders. And then roll your head and look over the right shoulder. So you're staying in this held position, resting onto your support if you're using it, or if you're more open in the hips, you could just have the legs dropping down onto your carpet or your mat. And then just settling into this position. So in yin poses, remember we hold for longer. A true yin class, you'd be holding for like 5 to 7 minutes. We're not holding for that long. But we're going to do some breath work whilst we're here. So legs resting into your support, let them go, and feeling the stretch in your right leg. So both legs are over to the left. That's it. And you can perhaps feel the stretch through the right thigh, so the front of the thigh. Some of you may feel it just in the outer thigh or the outer thigh as well. Maybe out through the right hip and maybe into the waist and your lower back. So legs are heavy to the left. cast your mind back to the breathing we were doing around your waistband, navel, side waist, and the lower back. Here we are breathing into the right side. So if your knees are over to the left, hold it here, relax into the heaviness of this position. Chin and nose heavy over to the right. And then push and press your breath into the navel, into the waist on the right side, and into your lower back. So you feel that your breath is pushing in these three directions: navel, waist, lower back. Feel it expanding on the inhale and softening and relaxing on your exhale. And perhaps you go back to that count again. So breathing for 4 in all three directions: navel, side, waist, lower back. And then pause for 2. And breathing out for longer than the inhale. Maybe 6, maybe more. Breathing in, pause. And a nice, slow, long exhale. Relaxing the exhale. In for 4. Hold. And a nice, long, slow exhale. One more breath. Returning back to normal breathing and just staying in the same position. Now we're going to focus on the physical elements of this pose and what you feel is stretching. So for me personally, the biggest part of the stretch is across the front of my quad. That is the loudest, strongest sensation for me. So for you, it may be somewhere else. So focus on that loudest, strongest, deepest part of the stretch. Take your mind to it. Notice its length, its depth, its warmth, shape. And then tell that to soften and to let go. And you can use your exhale, you can use the feeling of that pull of gravity to drop into the support underneath you, of whether you're just using a block, carpet, perhaps you've got a cushion or rolled blanket underneath you, whatever's there, you're just melting away into it. So melting those sensations through the body, using an exhale, the softening, whatever, to let go, release, release. And then notice how it changes, the sensation changes. Coming back to a bit more breath work. So feeling the breath into your heart, into the side ribs on the right side, and into your mid back on the inhale, pressing in those 3 directions. And on your exhale, melting and letting go, feeling the breath draw in, draw in, draw in, and let go of those physical sensations. And perhaps if your brain can cope with lots of things to think about, you could focus on pressing your breath into 6 points. So you'd start with, so you go with the navel, side waist, lower back, heart, side ribs, mid back. So all 6 directions expanding on the inhale. And contracting on the exhale. And with that contraction, as it draws in on the exhale, you're just melting those sensations of heaviness, of stretch in the legs, the hips, the waist. Okay, so bring your head, keep your legs as they are, bring your head back to center. Now the legs have become very, very heavy. So to carefully come out of this, squeeze your bottom, pull in on your abdominal muscles, and now press the outside edge of your feet into the mat. So you're squeezing the bottom, pressing your feet, and then as you breathe out, you bring your knees back to the center. So you may notice that having the legs being pulled over in that direction, it makes the spine go a bit wonky on your mat. So then we bring the knees in to get the spine straight again. And as you hold and hug the knees in this symmetrical position, can you feel the difference between the right and the left side? You could maybe do a little bit of rocking, squeezing, head to the knees, have a yawn. And then of course we need to do the other side. So if you were using supports, then bring them over onto your other side. Arms out to the side, feet hip width apart, dropping your knees over to the right and roll the head and look over to your left. And just soften the shoulders, have your arms out at 45-degree angle and have the support, if you're using it, close in towards your hips. So it supports the whole of the leg rather than if it's just on the knee, it leaves this gaping space. So you tuck it in and then you relax and let go, chin rolling to the left, knees to the right. And just get used to this new position. Checking in on where you feel the stretch. It may be different on this side. And just as we did at the beginning, of course, adjusting your props. So take it away, add extras, make yourself comfortable so you can rest into your supports. Letting go of any unnecessary tension, face, hands, bottom, feet. Notice the breath in the navel, in your side waist on the left side and into your lower back. Feel your breath pushing and pressing in all three directions. All three directions at the same time. And with the knees still over to the right and the head to the left, notice the openness in your chest, shoulders relaxed, and breathing into the heart. The side ribs on the left side and your mid back. Legs heavy. Checking in on those sensations where you feel the stretch is strongest, loudest for you. And then using the mind to soften, release, and let go. And then adding on the breath work to this. So you're pressing your breath in 6 directions. So navel, side waist, lower back, heart, side ribs, mid back. Push and press the breath in those 6 directions. Inhale. And then exhale, releasing, softening in those 6 directions, and include that letting go of the physical sensations of the stretch, of the pull of gravity. Let go, let go. Breathing in 6 directions. And then melting, releasing, and letting go in 6 directions. Few more breaths. Notice how the stretch perhaps has changed. Maybe intensified, maybe you feel warmth, maybe it's softened. And now roll your head back to the center. Pause. Take a breath. Squeeze your bottom. Keep hold of the bottom, the glutes, squeeze them tight. Draw the abs in. Now press your feet into the mat. And the exhale, you bring your knees back to the center. And then bring both knees back into your chest to realign the back of your sacrum, the lower right sacral area. And maybe have a little bit of a rock from side to side. Okay, great. So we're staying on the back just for the bridge pose sequence. This is not doing this with the yin, but making sure you've got space over your head so you don't bump into anything. Arms down by your side. So keep your breath calm and slow as it has been, and then we're going to breathe in, tilt the pelvis, and slowly lift your hips up and away. Send the knees away, heart up. And exhale, slowly lower your hips back down onto the ground. So please don't think I've got to get as high as I can, just keeping it nice and steady and control, working within this mindset of finding comfort and ease in the postures. So you are perhaps pushing and pressing and you feel that muscles are working, but never any sharp, uncomfortable pain. Breathing in, lifting, breathing out, lowering. Inhale, lift. If you feel that it's too much on the knees, just slide the feet further away. And exhale, lower down. Perhaps including a stretch up and over the head with the arms as well. So you're breathing in, lift the hips, lift the arms, stretch up and away. And slowly lower down. And with this, you could start to get back to that lengthening of the exhale if you wish. Breathing in, lifting. And exhale. Slowly, slowly lower down. Okay, on the next inhale, coming up with the arms, coming up with the hips, and hold. Tips of the hips as high up as you can, pressing evenly through the feet. Squeeze your bottom to give you some support. Have the inner thighs drawing towards each other, but not touching. Stretch the fingers away along your carpet, reaching behind you. And then slowly lower the hips back down and bring your arms so they float all the way down and hands come onto your thighs. You've all done this with me before. So you have your hands on the thighs and you're stretching your fingers towards your knees. You keep your hands on your thighs. You keep stretching away. Can you, if you just look, if you're not unsure, if you just look at the camera, so can you see as I stretch my hands towards my knees, my shoulder is completely off the mat. And then you come up into bridge pose. Keep reaching your fingers towards your knees and stretching away with the arms. Stretching the mid back, chin in, knees away, tips of the hips up, squeeze your glutes, hold here, feet hip width apart, inner thighs towards each other, hold. Big deep breaths. Exhale, lower all the way down. And then bring your arms up as we did at the beginning with that breath work. So your fingers are pointing up towards your ceiling. Perfect, good. Reach up and away. If it's tight on the shoulders, just go a little bit wider, but keep the arms stretching up towards your ceiling. Stretch away and then up into bridge pose again. So knees away, tips of the hips up, stretch your fingers up and away. Hold. Hold. And then slowly lower the hips down. The arm position changes so your arms come out to the side. So you can bring them straight out, forming a capital T position. If you haven't got space, then just bring them down 45-degree angles. So stretch your arms out and away, left to right. Breathing in, come up into bridge pose. Stretch the fingers left and right at the same time. Great, good, lovely. You've all got really good camera angles. I can see pretty much all of you all the time. Brilliant. Knees away, hips up, stretching the fingers left to right. So you've got 4 angles going in. Knees away, hips up, left hand, right hand, stretch. And slowly lower down, lower down. Feel that warmth of the spine as you lower down. Bring your arms down by your side. Palms down. Next one is the one-legged version. So we'll start by keeping the left foot flat on the floor. Extend your right leg out. Point your right toe. Right leg stays straight. Your right heel stays on the ground. And then breathing in, coming up into bridge pose with your hips lifting, the left foot staying down and the right heel staying down on the mat. Lovely. Lowering down. And now we're rolling over onto your side. So the leg that's bent, so your left leg, you're crossing it up and over the straight leg. Right hand onto the left knee and then just gently pull the knee over to the side. So you can either press and hold, or you could just do some little bouncing. So you push, release, push, release, push, release. Another nice option, I just move my arm out the way so you can see. Instead of crossing the leg all the way over, you just roll over to the side and then my toes just hook in to the crease of the knee. You see that my foot's hooked in there. My right leg is straight, rolling over. Just foot here, knee to the right. Rolling all the way back to the center, changing your leg position. So you're bending both legs, feet flat on the floor, and now extend the left leg out, left leg straight, left heel down, point the toe. Breathing in, lift the hips, pressing through the right foot, left heel stays down, point your left toes, lift the hips, squeeze through your glutes. Hold. Breathe. And exhale, lower down. So choosing your twist here. So either right foot crosses over the left hand onto the right knee, and you drop the leg over, or you could use that hook of the foot and the back of the knee so that the foot doesn't come over, the foot just hooks into the back of the knee, and then you press over. Right knee to the left, shoulders staying down, hold it here. And then bring your head back to the center and roll all the way back over. Both knees into your chest. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate what we're doing next. Let's change my camera. So we're going to do a little bit of cat pose, which you know. And then you can either go from cat to dog, or cat to swan. Okay, so you choose. So you're coming onto all fours. You might want a bit of padding underneath your knees. So you could get your prop supports, your blankets, whatever you've got, or you could roll up your mat so you've got extra padding on the knees, because we're then going to come over onto the side and we're going to do some hip work, like so. Okay, so just so you can prepare yourself with equipment. So we're practicing cat to wake up the spine, to give it some length. So as you round and squeeze in, you feel that stretch in the whole of the spine. And as you inhale, the front and the back muscles work to contract. So that's what we're doing cat for. It's also great for shifting any stale air at the bottom of the lungs. So when you come into rounding cat, you fully exhale, and you can add a little bit of pressure and push, squeeze, expel all the air before you then inhale. So just do a couple more of these. And then choosing whether you're practicing swan or downward facing dog, and I'll tell you the reasons around both. So downward facing dog is great for a little bit of weight bearing for the wrist, bringing strength in your shoulders. It's a nice stretch in the back if you're not too compromised with the stretch in your calves and your hamstrings. You will get the stretch in the back, calves and hamstrings. But if you really want to focus on stretching the back, then instead of down dog, you come into swan. So you take the legs out of the equation. In swan pose, you are hitting the hip flexors as you come back, so you're getting a waking up there, and you're getting a great stretch for the back. So whichever you're choosing to do, maybe you do a combination of both. You're always breathing in back onto the knees, the cat, and then breathing out, downward facing dog or swan, depending on what you want out of the posture. Hollow inhale. Maybe it feels good to stay with cat. Just do a couple more rounds, and then we'll come into that side strengthening work. So perhaps just watch me first. So you're going over onto your side. So you want your hand underneath your shoulder, wrist underneath the shoulder. If you find that challenging on the wrist, Then you do little teepee fingers like so, spreading your weight wide, or you come onto your knuckles. We're then leaning over onto the same knee. So here, that's where you might want a bit more padding under your knee. So I'm lifting the one shoulder and extending the other leg out. So this bottom leg, the bent leg, I've got my toes tucked behind, shin tucked behind at a 45-degree angle to give me more balance. And then you're aiming to get the shoulders stacking one on top of the other and the hips stacking so that you feel that you are flat. The leg that's outstretched, you flex the foot, push out through your heel, pop your hands onto your thigh and get your balance. See how the wrist feels, because we're going to take some more weight into the wrist by lifting the leg and hold, pressing out through the heel. So this is a bit of a progression from that side stretching that we've been doing. So you're holding, feeling that strength through the hip, and then you could maybe lift the arm. Can't see my hand, but my fingers are stretching up and away. And then the next level on would be to stretch the arm all the way over, pushing through the heel. Okay, so get yourselves organized with blocks and support. Sorry, I know I can see some of you doing it, some of you are watching. So if you've done the one side, then go over and do the other. We'll hopefully then all level up. So shoulders over wrists and then tip forwards. And I imagine that I've got a brick wall in front of me and I'm pushing myself against it so that the shoulders and the hips stay flat. Foot flexed, push out through the hip. Start with your hands on your thigh, press away, hold, push out through the hip. Maybe you stay there. Maybe you raise the top arm, reaching up through the fingers, hold. That's it, great. Maybe you extend the arm away, so you're pressing out through the heel and reaching through your fingertips. Hold. Feel the side, the hip, waking up. Well done. Release down. And then switch over, do the other side. So just turn around so I can watch you. So swivel around. So you're tucking that back hip in, hand on your side, flexing the foot, shoulder over the wrist, look straight ahead, flex your foot, lift, hold, press out through the heel. And this gives a tremendous amount of strength and length to your side waist, which helps protect your lower back. Reach the top arm up and away. Press out through that heel, top heel, push. And then maybe extend your fingers. So you're reaching up and away, pressing through that heel, lengthen through the fingertips. Breathe. And then release down. Foot down, drop the hands, knees down, rest in child pose. Back you go. If you don't want to come all the way back into child pose, you could just have your hands one on top of the other and rest your forehead on the hands with your hips up high. From here, coming down onto your front for locust pose. So working on strengthening the lower back muscles. Forehead down. Actually, let's start with your hands underneath the head. So as you breathe in, extend out through your toes and lift both legs off the ground, keeping them straight. Extend out through the toes, hold, hold, hold. Exhale, release, relax down. Going again. Breathing in, lift, hold, keep the head down. And then have a go at opening the legs into a wide V. So we're working those inner and outer thighs again. Abducting the legs, wide V, drawing them together. Adducting the legs, squeeze, keep them lifted. And then lower down and relax. Okay, repeating, breathing in, lift both legs straight, keep them straight, point the toes. You can hold here, or you can add on the widening. Inhale, the drawing in, and the relaxing down, and release. Okay, one more. Inhale, lift, hold, hold, hold. Open wide, hold. Slowly come together. And then release and relax down. And take a breather. Changing your arm position so your hands are down by your side with your palms facing down and your fingers pointing towards your toes. We're now going to lift the arms and the head and chest and the legs off the ground. So breathing out, press your pubic bone down into the mat. Breathing in, lift arms, legs, head, chest. Keep looking at your yoga mat. Extend the toes away, fingers away, and breathe into locust pose. Full expression of Shalabhasana. Exhale, lower down. Turn your head to the side so you're resting your head on the cheek. Relax, have your heels out, toes tuck in, and just do some little hip wiggles. Can you see my hips from bottom going from side to side? Helps relax the lower back. Okay, one more, forehead down. Breathing out, press down. And then inhale, lift. Head up, fingers away, chin in. Look down at your mat. Hold here. Maybe lift a little higher. And release, let go, let go. Turn your head the other way and jiggle your hips side to side to side. So we're now going to come in a pose, the Sphinx pose. So you're going to bring your arms so that your arms are nice and wide and your elbows are level with your shoulders, roughly, palms on the floor. Roll the shoulders back, lift the head and chest, your feet stay down on the ground, and then just walk your elbows and forearms in a bit. So you think of the Sphinx in Egypt, your weight is being supported by those long extended forearms. The Sphinx has those claws, so your fingers are wide, and you're using the fingers and the grip to pull into the mat, to pull the chest forwards, roll the shoulders back. And as this is kind of yin pose, we're going to hold for a little longer, feeling that opening in the heart. So my legs are down, heels are dropping out, and breathing to the heart, chin tucking in, hold here. If you find it uncomfortable on your lower back, any discomfort with pinching, then walk your elbows further forwards, still doing a little back bend, but just the slope is lower and the pressure is less on the back. Shoulders still relaxed, heart open, hold here. And press your elbows away and slowly bring yourself down to the mat. Heels out, toes tuck in, and just jiggle your hips from side to side. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself back into swan. Hips back, fingers forward, stretch away. Head down. And then walk your hands to the right. Hips back. Fingers to the right. And walk your hands to the left. Hips back. Fingers to the right. And then come back to the center. So we're going to take a few minutes rest, just a couple of minutes. And as you've got all the props and supports, I'm going to make a suggestion that instead of lying on your back, you have a go at doing this on your side. So you come over sort of like into the recovery position, legs bent, and you pop a block underneath your head or a cushion or a bolster. And then you use cushion, bolster, blocks underneath the hips so the pelvis is level. You could then put a blanket or a bolster, a block, whatever, underneath the hands as well, so you've got something to rest the hand on. So everything feels supported. Actually, I feel that I could perhaps bring one leg over the top, one leg extends out, but I still want support underneath so that that leg isn't dropped over into a twist and my hip pelvis feels level. So just for a change, you might want to try this position on your side to rest in. Okay, so if all that feels like too much hassle and you just want to lie down, as you do normally, then please go ahead, and of course, making sure you feel comfort and ease wherever you're resting. So settling down. Resting at ease. And you're giving yourself a chance to let all these sensations of the poses catch up with you in this still position. Eyes closed. Face soft. And relax the shoulders, the arms, the hands, fingers. Relax in the back. And the legs and out through the toes. Settle into the support underneath you, even if you're just lying flat on the ground. Notice the gentle flowing of your breath, no control, no counting, just observing the breath coming and going. Starting to deepen your breath if you want to. So you're obviously at home, you're most welcome to stay for longer. The Yin class can take some time to kind of get round from, because although we haven't done a lot moving from pose to pose, it's much, much slower. So it drops you into this deeper sense of rest and relaxation, feeling this wonderful presence of health. And you can stay with these sensations of health and happiness and peace washing over you for longer. We'll bring it up to sitting, ready to start your day. If you can still hear me, haven't gone to sleep and you're resting, stay for longer, and I'll just turn the Zoom off and leave you there. Hands to your heart. Take a big breath in, sweep your arms up and away. And exhale, bow forwards. Namaste. Thank you so much. Wonderful to see you all. I can see a couple of people still resting, so I'm going to stop the recording and then end the Zoom. I can see hands waving. Lovely to see you all. Have a nice weekend. Namaste.